Number 10. Green Hell. You're dropped into the Amazon rainforest with nothing. No map, no weapons, no mercy. Green Hell is one of the most brutal survival crafting experiences ever made. Every single item you craft here actually matters. You're not just building a campfire for fun. You're building it because if you don't, the infection spreading up your arm will kill you by morning. The crafting system forces you to pay attention to everything around you. Vines, sticks, bones, leaves, all of it has a purpose. You'll craft traps, shelters, weapons, and medicines using real Amazonian survival logic. It doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't give you a tutorial pop up every 5 seconds. It throws you in and watches you suffer. What makes this game special is the body inspection system. You have to physically check your own body for leeches, wounds, parasites, and broken bones, then craft the right remedy before it gets worse. That level of detail in a survival crafting game is rare. And just when you think you finally figured out how to survive the jungle reminds you that you haven't even scratched the surface of what it's hiding. Number 9. Astroneer. Forget everything you know about survival crafting, because Astroneer does it in outer space, and it does it beautifully. You land on an alien planet with one backpack and one mission: survive, explore, and build. The crafting here is incredibly satisfying because everything flows through a central resource system called the soil centrifuge and the smelting furnace. You dig up terrain, process materials, and craft modules that slowly turn your little landing pod into a full interplanetary base. The terrain itself is your crafting table. You shape the ground, flatten mountains, dig tunnels, and build trade platforms that connect to other planets. What separates Astroneer from other survival crafters is the atmosphere. It's colorful, calm, and weirdly relaxing, until a storm hits and throws your entire base setup across the map. The co-op works seamlessly too. You and a friend can split up, each explore a different planet, and share resources back and forth like an actual space mining operation. The deeper you dig into each planet, the stranger the alien technology you find, and some of that technology leads to something much bigger than just surviving. Number 8. The Forest. Most survival games give you animals and weather as your biggest threats. The forest gives you cannibals. From the moment your plane crashes and your son gets kidnapped by a pale creature that vanishes into the trees, the crafting in this game takes on a whole new meaning. You're not just building a base, you're building a fortress. Every wall you craft, every trap you place, every weapon you assemble has one purpose: keep them out. The crafting system is deep and intuitive. You gather logs, rocks, and materials to build everything from a basic lean-to shelter to a multi-story treehouse with electricity and security systems. What makes the forest's crafting stand out is the enemy AI that actually reacts to your base. Build a huge wall, they'll watch it for days before attacking. Leave gaps in your defenses, they'll find them. This isn't just survival crafting, it's psychological warfare between you and the tribe living in those woods. You can also craft effigies, creepy scarecrow-like structures built from body parts to scare them off. Yeah, body parts. But the real question everyone who plays this game eventually asks is, what exactly is living at the bottom of those caves? Number 7. Subnautica. What if the survival crafting genre went completely underwater on an alien ocean planet and somehow became one of the greatest games ever made? Subnautica puts you on a water world with no land. Your crashed ship is sinking. Your only lifeline is a small escape pod with basic fabrication tools. Everything you build, from oxygen tanks to underwater vehicles to full habitat stations, starts from resources you collect by diving deeper and deeper into the ocean. The crafting progression feels incredible. You start crafting fins and a basic knife. 30 hours later, you're crafting a massive underwater base with grow beds, nuclear reactors, and a submarine that can crush depth records. The depth system is what gives the crafting real purpose. Every new biome you discover has new materials that unlock new crafting recipes, and every new biome also gets darker, stranger, and more terrifying than the last. You'll craft a new vehicle just to reach a depth you couldn't before, and when you get there, the things waiting for you will make you wish you'd stayed shallow. The sound design alone will make your heart race. There's a creature in this game that you'll hear long before you ever see it. And when you finally do see it, no amount of crafted armor is going to make you feel safe. Number 6, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky had one of the worst launches in gaming history, and right now, it's one of the best survival crafting games you can play on Epic Games Store. That comeback story alone deserves respect. The scale of crafting here is almost incomprehensible. You're not crafting in one world, you're crafting across an entire procedurally generated universe with 18 quintillion planets. You gather resources, craft technologies, upgrade your suit, your ship, your multi-tool, and your planetary base. Each planet has different materials, different conditions, and different threats. Some planets are so toxic, you'll need to constantly craft atmosphere processors just to breathe for more than 30 seconds. The base building system is one of the most complete in any survival game. You can build almost anything: massive farms, automated resource extractors, teleporters between planets, even entire space stations. And the multiplayer lets you visit other players' bases across the universe, trade resources, and build settlements together. What keeps people playing hundreds of hours is the constant loop of crafting better gear to reach more dangerous places that give you better materials to craft even better gear. It never stops escalating. And somewhere in this universe, there's a center, a destination that the game slowly, quietly pushes you toward. What's actually there? That's something you need to craft your way to finding out yourself. Number 5, Raft. You wake up on a tiny wooden raft in the middle of the ocean. You have a hook. That's it. Go. Raft builds one of the most unique survival crafting loops ever designed around a single mechanic, using your hook to grab floating debris from the water as your raft drifts forward. Plastic, planks, barrels, palm leaves, everything you craft comes from what you pull out of the ocean. And your raft itself is your crafting station, your home, and your vehicle all at once. You'll craft new floors to expand it, walls to protect it, an engine to steer it, a net to catch resources automatically, and eventually full research tables that unlock hundreds of new recipes. The shark that circles your raft from the very beginning becomes a permanent psychological presence. Every time you jump in the water to collect resources, there's that moment of panic when you hear the music change. You can craft spears, arrows, and shark bait, but that shark never fully goes away. As you sail toward radio tower signals and abandoned islands, the story pieces together through scattered notes and journals. And the further you sail, the more you realize this ocean apocalypse is much bigger than one person on a tiny raft. The last island on the map has been talked about by the community for years. Nobody who reaches it is ever fully prepared for what they find there. Number 4, Valheim. Valheim took the survival crafting genre and asked one simple question: what if the whole world was a Viking myth that you had to fight your way through? The crafting system in Valheim is tied directly to exploration and progression in a way most survival games can't match. You can't craft iron tools until you've explored a swamp biome and mined crypts for scrap iron. You can't craft silver gear until you've climbed a mountain and defeated the wolf boss. Every biome unlocks a new crafting tier, which means every time you push into new territory, your entire crafting tree expands. It creates this perfect loop of explore, survive, craft, and push further. The base building is some of the best in the genre. Wood, stone, iron, each material has a structural integrity system, so you actually have to think like an architect. Build wrong and your roof collapses. The building system rewards players who pay attention. And the world itself feels alive in a way that's hard to describe. The fog rolls across the Black Forest at night, your longship cuts through choppy ocean waves, and the mountains echo with creature sounds you haven't identified yet. There are 6 main bosses in Valheim, each one harder than the last, each one requiring crafted gear that you can only get by beating the previous one. The final boss doesn't live in this world. It lives in a place you'll need to craft a portal to reach. Number 3, Grounded. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Dark Souls crafting, and it absolutely slaps. Grounded shrinks you down to the size of an ant and throws you into a suburban backyard that suddenly becomes one of the most terrifying and creative survival crafting environments ever designed. A blade of grass is now a building material for your base walls. An acorn top becomes a bowl. Spider silk becomes one of the most valuable crafting resources in the game, which means to get it, you have to fight spiders the size of houses. The crafting progression is brilliantly designed around the natural ecosystem of the backyard. Early game, you're crafting basic tools from pebbles and plant fiber. Mid-game, you're crafting armor from ant parts and ladybug shells. Late game, you're crafting full mechanical gear and powerful weapons using materials from the most dangerous areas of the yard: the koi pond, the upper yard, and the shed. The mutation system adds another layer where your playstyle actually evolves your character. Play aggressively and you unlock mutations that enhance combat. Craft and build constantly and your base becomes more efficient. Every corner of that backyard hides a new threat, a new material, and a new crafting recipe. And deep in the yard, there's a research facility that slowly reveals why you were shrunk and whether anyone is ever coming to help you get back.
Number 2, Minecraft. Before any survival crafting game existed the way it does today, there was Minecraft, and it still belongs in this conversation. The crafting system that Minecraft introduced to the world is the foundation that every game on this list is built on. A 3x3 grid, materials in specific shapes, hundreds of recipes to discover. It sounds simple because it is, and that simplicity is the genius of it. Within that system lives an almost infinite amount of complexity. You start crafting wooden tools, then stone, then iron, then diamond, then netherite. Each tier opens new dimensions, literally. The nether and the end are entire crafting progression gates disguised as other worlds. The survival in Minecraft still holds up because it scales with how seriously you take it. Casual players build homes and farms. Hardcore players create automated resource systems, mob farms, and redstone machines so complex they function like actual computers. The modding community on PC has expanded Minecraft's crafting system into territory the base game never imagined. Entire new dimensions, magic crafting systems, tech trees that rival full AAA games. 15 years after release, millions of people still play this game every single day. That's not nostalgia. That's a crafting loop so well designed that it never actually gets old. But the game that sits at number 1 didn't just take inspiration from Minecraft. It took the survival crafting genre and rebuilt it from scratch. And what they built might be the most ambitious crafting system ever put into a video game.
Number 1, Terraria. People call Terraria a 2D Minecraft. Those people have never actually played Terraria. This game has more crafting recipes than almost any survival game ever made. Over 500 enemies, over 20 biomes, and a crafting progression system so deep that veteran players with thousands of hours still find recipes they've never used. You start with a basic pickaxe and a sword made of wood. By the end, you're crafting weapons that shoot laser beams, summon tornadoes, and rain swords from the sky. Every single material you dig up connects to something craftable. Nothing is useless, nothing is filler. The crafting stations alone tell the story of your progression. Workbench to furnace to anvil to mithril anvil to ancient manipulator. Each station unlocks a completely new tier of crafting that feels like entering a different game entirely. And unlike most survival crafters, Terraria's progression is gated behind bosses. You don't get the next crafting tier by just exploring. You earn it by defeating something that will genuinely test everything you've built so far. The world beneath the surface keeps going down in ways that constantly surprise you. Underground jungle, dungeon, underworld, and a corruption spreading across everything that forces you to craft containment solutions or lose your biomes forever. There are 22 bosses in this game. The final boss, Moonlord, requires a crafting and preparation process so involved that most players spend hours just getting ready for the fight. And even after you beat it, there's a reason Terraria players never actually stop playing.